Someone is getting down on one knee right now, somewhere in the world. Ring box opening, tears, hugs, yes, Instagram post, congratulations. And at the center of all of it, a tiny, shiny rock that has absolutely no practical use whatsoever. You cannot eat it, you cannot build with it, you cannot fuel anything with it. It is just a rock, a very shiny rock. And yet humans have decided this particular rock is worth more than most people earn in a lifetime, worth dying for, worth going to war over, worth enslaving entire nations for. So let's talk about diamonds and why the entire thing is one of the greatest scams ever pulled on the human race. Diamonds are formed about 100 miles below the Earth's surface, under extreme heat and pressure over billions of years. They get pushed to the surface through volcanic eruptions and just sit there in the ground, waiting for about 3 billion years. 3 billion years underground, then dug up in about 5 minutes with a man with a shovel. Diamonds have been around since ancient times. Indians were mining them from riverbeds around 4th century BC. Back then, they were valued for their hardness, their ability to engrave other materials, their supposed magical and spiritual powers. Romans thought they were tears of the gods. Greeks thought they were splinters of falling stars. Nobody was proposing with them yet. That came much, much later, and it was almost entirely fake. But first, let's talk about South Africa, because that's where this story gets truly dark. In 1867, a 15-year-old boy named Erasmus Jacobs found a shiny stone on his father's farm near the Orange River in South Africa. He didn't know what it was. His neighbor did, though. It was a diamond, and suddenly, everything changed. Within years, the largest diamond rush in history had begun. Hundreds of thousands of people flooded into South Africa, and a young British man named Cecil Rhodes arrived with them. Now, Cecil Rhodes is one of the most important and most terrifying figures in this entire story. He was 17 when he arrived in South Africa. He was ruthless, brilliant, and completely without moral limits. He bought up diamond claims one by one, pushed out competitors, manipulated markets, and by 1888 he had created De Beers Consolidated Mines, a company that would go on to control literally 90% of the world's diamond supply. 90%. One company, 90% of all diamonds on Earth. Now here is where Cecil Rhodes gets really dark. He didn't just want to control diamonds, he wanted to control Africa. He used his diamond wealth to fund private armies. He annexed territories. He literally had entire countries named after him. Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe and Zambia, was named after Cecil Rhodes, a man who openly believed that British people were the superior race and had a right to take whatever they wanted from Africa. His policies led to the forced removal of indigenous African people from their land, the destruction of entire communities, and the establishment of a system of racial segregation and forced labor that would eventually evolve into apartheid, all funded by diamonds, the pretty rocks people put on engagement rings. But wait, it gets worse. De Beers didn't just control the supply of diamonds, they controlled the idea of diamonds. See, by the 1930s, diamond sales were collapsing. The Great Depression hit. Nobody was buying diamonds. De Beers were panicking. So they hired an advertising agency called N.W. Ayer, and in 1947, a copywriter named Frances Garrity, who had never been engaged herself, sat down and wrote 4 words that would change human behavior forever. A diamond is forever. 4 words. 4 words that convinced the entire world that diamonds were the only acceptable symbol of love, that an engagement ring had to have a diamond, that the size of the diamond reflected how much you loved your partner, that returning or reselling an engagement ring was basically emotional treason. Before this campaign, diamond engagement rings were not a tradition, they were not standard, they were not expected. After this campaign, they became mandatory. De Beers literally invented the tradition of diamond engagement rings through an advertising campaign. And then they did something even genius and evil at the same time. They convinced people never to resell their diamonds, because if people resold diamonds, the market would be flooded, prices would drop, the illusion of scarcity would collapse. So De Beers ran campaigns telling people that selling your diamond ring was disrespectful to your relationship, that a real diamond is forever, not something you sell. They literally guilt-tripped the entire world into not reselling diamonds to protect their own profits. And it worked. The resale market for diamonds is basically non-existent. You buy a diamond for $10,000, you try to sell it the next day, you get maybe $2,000, because diamonds are not actually rare and they are not actually a good investment. De Beers has warehouses, literal warehouses full of diamonds they have mined and are deliberately not releasing into the market to keep prices artificially high. They are literally hoarding rocks and charging you a fortune for the privilege of buying one. Now let's talk about blood diamonds, because this is where it gets truly horrifying. In the 1990s, civil wars erupted across West Africa, Sierra Leone, Angola, Liberia, Congo, and these wars were funded by diamonds. Rebel groups would seize diamond mines, force local people, including children, to mine diamonds at gunpoint, sell the diamonds on the international market, and use the money to buy weapons, to kill more people, to seize more mines, to mine more diamonds. Diamonds that ended up in jewelry stores in New York, London, Tokyo, Dubai, sitting in glass cases, looking beautiful, while the people who dug them out of the ground were being murdered for them. The diamond industry knew. They just didn't care enough to stop it. It took a massive global campaign, a Hollywood movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, and enormous international pressure before the Kimberley Process was created in 2003 to try to certify conflict-free diamonds. But here is the dark twist. The Kimberley Process only covers diamonds that directly fund rebel warfare. It does not cover diamonds mined under forced labor, does not cover diamonds from countries with brutal government oppression, does not cover the environmental destruction caused by diamond mining, which includes entire rivers being diverted, mountains being blasted apart, ecosystems being destroyed forever. So the diamond on your finger is certified conflict-free. It might still have been mined by someone earning $1 a day in conditions that would make you physically sick, but the certificate says it is fine, so it is fine. And now, in the ultimate irony, lab-grown diamonds exist. Chemically identical to mined diamonds, physically identical. You cannot tell the difference with the naked eye.
A gemologist with equipment can barely tell the difference. They cost 60 to 80% less than mined diamonds, and the diamond industry is absolutely losing their minds about it. De Beers has spent decades telling you that diamonds are rare and precious and eternal. And now a machine can grow one in 2 weeks. 2 weeks! De Beers actually started selling lab-grown diamonds themselves in 2018, under a different brand so it wouldn't hurt their main diamond business, because of course they did. So let's recap. Diamonds are not actually rare. The tradition of diamond engagement rings was invented by an advertising campaign in 1947. The man who built the diamond industry used it to fund racism, colonialism, and the foundations of apartheid. Diamonds funded brutal civil wars that killed hundreds of thousands of people. The certification system that's supposed to fix it doesn't actually fix it. Lab-grown diamonds are identical and cost a fraction of the price. And De Beers has been artificially inflating prices by hoarding rocks in warehouses for over a century. But sure, a diamond is forever. That's not a love story, that's a marketing slogan, written by a woman who never even got engaged. If this just saved you $10,000, subscribe. More of this every week.